self-deceived that they believe if they fell off the face of the earth tomorrow, the world's going to come to a grinding halt. None of us. So what's your job? If you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's the world of tomorrow. Because there's going to be no money to incentivize anybody to do anything. If you're in the military, don't do it if you don't want to do it. If you don't want to be a protector or a defender of the innocents out there. But there's not going to be any money to incentivize anybody to do anything. So we need to think way, way outside the box. And only God can help us to do that. Utilize your God-given ability to think, to imagine. And He'll show you. You can't imagine a world without any form of money. And that's the world we need to merge into. We need to evolve into it. And as much as that people don't like that because they've got a huge advantage, the system has worked very well for them, that is perilous thinking. Perilous. If you love your life in this world, I mean, what are you going to get? You're going to be there with those other people that love their lives in this world so much. And where does it land them? When they care about money and all the accompanying accoutrements with money, more than they love human beings, even the least of men, the downtrodden, the dispossessed, the desperately poor, the homeless out there, not criminals. Jesus Christ, that's who He said He is. Whoever you believe the least of men to be. If they were criminals, they'd be in jail at a cost of $50,000 minimum, $100,000 a year or more here in California, per inmate per year. So, you think we're not in a lot of trouble, my friends? Think again. You know, Trump needs to stick to the script. He's ashamed of homelessness. Prove it. End it. Put some fire under the behinds of all the governors and demand it. And if that doesn't work, then go straight to the mayors and say, that's it, man. That's it. I mean, look, I don't blame people locally, and we shouldn't. They're being divided on purpose. Oh, you're a socialist. You're a capitalist. You're a Democrat. You're a Republican. You're a conservative, you're a liberal. It's all nonsense, made up. Remember who's causing the problems for us. If we don't have sound economic policies, everybody's going to feel it. But it's trickle-down misery that's coming from the very top. That's where it's coming from, the Federal Reserve. Okay, these people, they shouldn't have existed day one after the assassination of JFK. He had already supplanted them. He was already circulating a new dollar. We didn't need them for anything, and now we're in debt to them for over $25 trillion and counting, and the mainstream media won't touch that debt. They won't talk about how that's being paid off on the backs of the poor, creating more poverty, more wealth imbalance. How are we creating more multi-billionaires every day? This huge national debt. They call America a rich nation. We're $25 trillion in debt, for God's sake. How stupid are we? Evidently, the sky is the limit. We're in trouble. We must step up to the plate. It's our very survival. Give a damn about others, for God's sake. If things don't directly affect you, you better care about the least of men. If you don't, and you had an opportunity to, I feel so sorry for you on Judgment Day. That's all I've got. That's all I've got. If I had my brothers, I'd put you in an ethics rehabilitation center until you get it, man. You see the light. You choose to be born again. You say, man, I'm done. I get it, man. Hate my life in this world. Yeah, it's evil, man. Vile, evil, ruthless, murderous men without a conscience. No regard for their soul. That's who's running the show. I don't want to be overly invested in this scene. I want the opposite, man. I'm going to teach the opposite, man. You know, this is messed up scene, man. You know, I need to get real. And I'm gonna. I may fail in a lot of areas of my life. I may not overcome this, that, or next, but when it comes to the really important issues, having my values in line with God's values, and that's you, that's me, that's His ultimate value on earth, not the gold, not the silver, not anything else on this earth, okay? It's us. That's what He cares about, and we need to care about each other in that same manner. And if we do that, we'll release this curse, because God's wrath hangs heavy over America, by extension the rest of the world, and we're in a lot of trouble because of it. And I want that wrath lifted, but we've got to understand, look, I feel a great sense of gratitude, and it is so quickly tempered. I don't want to feel lucky. I don't want to feel special, privileged in any way. I want Him to feel lucky. I want everybody to feel a little luckier than me. That'll make me feel even better. Then I can appreciate my luckiness, my gratitude. But I don't like it because osmosis, it's real. I know my joy is tempered, okay, by unnecessary human suffering, which is replete. It's rampant. It's rife throughout this earth and in our local communities with extreme, desperate poverty in the form of homelessness. For God's sake, my God, you think God's wrath isn't hanging over us? Please, my friends, understand we must fix our problems. I want to be happy. I'm a selfish man. I want you to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? But you can't. You can't go it alone. Okay, figure out that much at least, please. This thing called osmosis is a scientific principle. It's inescapable. You cannot divorce yourself from your fellow man. You've got a little thing called a conscience. It's a fail-safe God put in you to keep pulling you back. Okay, your conscience, you understand? That's what God's using to keep your soul intact, to save it. He loves you more than anything else in this world, and me and all of us equally. We're precious treasure to him. We're what it's all about. If you spent your whole life traveling this earth, just letting people know that would be a life well served, well lived, and you will get your reward for doing that. Giving his little ones a drink of cold water. Okay, it's a metaphor for that. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be rewarded in the hereafter. You're going to get great things. It's all yours. All that your Father has is yours forever. If you're righteous and decent, okay, you got a pure heart, goodwill toward men, blessing even your enemies, wishing even the best for them, not approving of what they do, making sure that you excoriate them duly and prudently and properly, okay, in the right spirit. That's more important to understand. Look, I'm correcting you. I have an obligation. You understand? I can't do nothing. If I do nothing, then your blood's on my hands. Okay, when you aren't found worthy and deserving of inheriting a better world. So I must speak out. We all got to do our part. Carry our fair share weight of the cross and go out there. And it's about saving souls, winning friends for God. That's what it's all about. It's about an eternity in paradise, not this crap hole where we just want to say live and let die, because we all get that, man. I think it's hard for young people to get it. You know, it takes getting old. You start getting ailments and all this stuff, man, and then you thinking about what Bender the Robot from Futurama said. You know, we're meat bags. That's what we are. Okay, these are bodies of death. We all have to relinquish, and that's a big deal. We need God to give us solace over that matter. That's a big deal. I don't like death. I don't like the death of me or anybody else. I hate that. There's plenty of people I'd rather die before them. Okay, but, I don't get to choose. And neither does anybody else. So we need a Savior with a scintilla of faith, because that's all I really feel like I have. I talk big, but I'm just as human as you or anybody else out there. Believe me, I've got plenty of issues, organic issues. Okay, but the one I speak out most vociferously about is those that are discriminating, that pick on people, that are biased. Those are the unnecessary, sufferings that I cannot tolerate. I find it insufferable, unnerving, intolerable, untenable, and I've got to speak out about other people's unnecessary suffering. So you just need a little bit of faith in God to, have him take care of you and give you whatever you need to survive. He loves you and he wants to do that. Remember, he loves you dearly and wants the best for you. We need a faith in something bigger, to quote The Who. The way we seek escapism, ways to dissipate our time, all the vices out there. Okay, and we make excuses. We say, well, a lot of them are healthier than others. We admit, exercise, people are addicted to work and all sorts of things. Okay, but it's still, it's a distraction. It's a form of dissipating our time. And we've got to understand what's going on here, why we seek these things. What are the drivers? What's causing us to want to run, not walk? Okay, because these are the things that have to go. Okay, the things that cause men to sin. The things that distract us from God. God, he's a jealous God, and he desires our affections and our attentions. But all the things of the world that distract us, are out there. And what drives us? It's just, we're metaphorically committing suicide. It's a way, self-flagellation, metaphorically slashing our wrists and all this sort of thing, because we know, we feel, hey, something's really bugging me. I can't put my finger on it, just some nebulous blob up there, but we got to figure that out. Get it, categorize it. Figure out, is it organic? Then we need to go to God in prayer. Is it inorganic? We still need to go to God in prayer and say, wow, I'm born again. I get it. I get it, God. Your point of view, how you see things, and how I've been trained to see things are diametric opposites. Wow, what a distinction, man. You're telling me, come over here, swim over here where it's cool and clean and clear in these waters. Come out of Babylon, okay? Come out of confusion. Come out of ignorance. Come out of willful stupidity, because you've been trained that ignorance is bliss. They lied to you. It's not. My yoke is easy. My burden is light. I am the way and the truth and the life. I am the path of least resistance, saith the Lord. So that's what I would encourage others to do, and to let other people that know that that's what you believe that they ought to do. So a lot of the stuff bugging us is happening on a subliminal level. So when it's that tricky and sneaky and obscured, we do need God to help us sort things out. We really do. I mean, because still for me, there's just a whole lot of just this blob of negativity that we all have to contend with, that I don't like any more than the next guy out there. So we need God in all aspects of our lives. In fact, Scripture says we ought to be living our lives like one big prayer. That's it, man, our whole lives, because they might be over today. We don't know. We need to be praying to God every day. What does King Solomon? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear doesn't mean you're supposed to be scared. Oh, I'm afraid of God, that's why I'm following his command. No, it's a profound respect, a reverence for God, and saying, wow, I don't want to fall into the hands of an angry God. On Judgment Day, I want to be found with blameless, with clean hands and a pure heart. I want to be found worthy and deserving of inheriting a better world. I don't want to go down there with those people. It's going to be miserable. They're going to be miserable. All these elitists, these hypocrites stuck together, these murderous thugs, and that have sacrificed their consciences, their very souls. Whew. All right, my friends, I'm on to some recent current events and other talking points. When you hear about home sales numbers and all this, it's really a meaningless statistic. There's a big difference between first-time home buyers and multiple home buyers, and that's what drives the vast majority of new home sales, or any used home sale. I mean, it's all the same. It's just people buying houses, movement in the market, because we've got a dwindling percentage of homeowners. And California is leading the way, and it's a bad thing, okay, to have to say, as a native Californian. I hate it. But as goes California, so goes the rest of the country. So I feel an intense obligation to warn people, okay, that it's not good. High housing costs are not good, contrary to what the mainstream media has led you to believe. Because there's a direct correlation between the price people pay for housing and the price people pay in rent, okay? We're in trouble, man. It's so hard to turn something like this around. The finger of God. We need the finger of God, man, to turn this around. Hey, I talk sometimes about how fickle and arbitrary the laws of men are and how they're changed. Well, prohibition for alcohol. Yeah, it was a moral issue, right? Because that's what all our laws are supposed to be based on, ethics and morality, right? I mean, they got to make sense to the people, right? Why should we follow the law? It makes sense. Okay, don't steal. All right, I get that. That's not treating others the way you want to be treated. You don't want to steal stuff. You don't want people stealing stuff from you. We get that one. But how about the drug laws? Well, what's the rhyme and the reason? Well, drunk driving, we get that. We get that. Okay, or driving under the influence of drug that's going to cause you problems on the highway. We get that. That could be a problem. But drugs, period. Okay. I mean, why don't we make rat poison illegal? It's still legal. I mean, can a child? I don't even know. Can a child go buy rat poison? Probably. I mean, and you want to snort it, and he was going to tell his friends, well, a little trick. I just thought I'd play a practical joke. I didn't think it would kill him. So he gives his friends rat poison. They all die, and, it's like, oh, well, I'm just a kid. Hey, I don't know. It might be illegal. I don't know if a kid could buy it or not. I haven't checked. But you can find out if you buy rat. I don't buy rat poison. If I got to get rid of rats, I'll use a baited trap. But That's what some people do, and it's bad because if an owl eats a rat that had just gotten ingested with rat poison, well, you might kill the owl too, right? Or somebody's cat. So it's not. I don't recommend rat poison ever be used. But it'd be interesting to see if the ID, you go through the self checkout, see if they, ask for ID. But I'm just trying to make a point. It's arbitrary and capricious. It's not based on logic. And pot, the same. Another thing. It's like one day it's illegal, and well, it's based on morality because this is reefer madness, and it just causes people to go crazy and act like demons or something. Be degenerate. It's a gateway drug, they'll say, stuff like that. But any of the drugs, if people want to sniff coke